Hi, I'm Stephen Lewis and I'm an artist, a sculptor, painter and conceptual artist. My work's really all about self-exploration and interest in trying to get to the heart of my own thoughts and beliefs. I use art as a tool, a language for exploring contemporary ideas and personal ideas. And I kind of like to look back at the sort of days of the old Victorian vicars who used to go off and discover planets and stuff. You know, it's that kind of sort of natural philosophy. It's kind of painting to try and find out something about myself, or sculpting to try and find out something about the world. I think it's the worlds of art and philosophy and thought that I'm interested in, and I don't mind taking in a rational, almost scientific approach to analysing those issues as far as I deal with them. So, whereas I could understand mechanics through mathematics, or I can understand law through speech and text, I find that these more esoteric concepts are best explored by myself through physical objects, making things. Even while I'm making a sculpture, I'm thinking about what it is I'm trying to explore through the sculpture. And it's actually the process of the work that provides occasionally a little moment of enlightenment. I suppose the one I use most is sculpture, and it's stone. Usually soft stones, because, well, really it's so easily malleable and yet very textural, and I'm very drawn to 3D art because I consider myself a 3D being in the 3D world. And although I do paint, I find the two-dimensionality of painting a bit difficult. You're always trying to struggle with the illusions of perspective and things like that. But with sculpture in stone, and I also work in bronze and wax and clay, I can kind of understand those objects better than I can maybe a 2D representation. The one element of my work that I don't do in the studio is sort of almost the conceptual performance part. I'm very interested in a number of artists, but one especially called Ana Mendieta, who is a famous American or Mexican originally artist, who went out into the environment and interacted with it to try and understand her place in the world. And she has a whole series of works that were never recorded, very personal to herself, that she mentioned but never really explained. And I've tried to go out occasionally and just try and get that feeling of, don't perform for someone, this is not going to be recorded, there is no record, it's just you, the world, your thoughts, and try and collect some little moment of insight, perhaps, that you can then feed back into your studio work. There are physical outcomes, but the real outcomes for me are the thoughts or concepts, and I do record them, and occasionally I feel I have moved a little bit further along in my thinking, and those are really the outcomes. The physical artifacts that are produced at the end kind of become insignificant once I've kind of squeezed them dry of any intellectual or any emotional feel for them. I very rarely exhibit. I've exhibited occasionally because I wanted to enjoy the company of friends in exhibiting, but I'm not particularly looking to exhibit these objects outside after my own use. They're not important to me in that respect. Bits and pieces of mine have turned up with people and gone to people, and they enjoy them. That's great, and I'm very happy about that, but that's kind of a side effect. Anything that I think that's been worthwhile out of my work is kind of stored up in my head. And if it's worthwhile to anybody else, and I'm not sure that's the case, that's where you'll find it, I don't mind doing work, and I've done work for friends, I've painted some dogs, for instance. That was kind of exciting. But no, that's not where I'm going. The situation is there's plenty of topics and issues in my head that I haven't even started to scratch the surface of. I will never get through 1% of those in my lifetime, so I can't see that changing much. I'm always gathering techniques. I love learning about techniques. I do life drawing classes and you know, I've worked in bronze and stone, and I just love. They're like tools. They're the tools of which to explore ideas, and I don't know where else I'll go with those. I love the environment of a collective studio where I'm being exposed to all sorts of interesting new concepts. I was out doing street art, which I had never done before, which I wouldn't have done if I'd been in my own somewhere, but it was a studio idea. I went out and it was great, really enjoyed it. I think I got quite a lot out of it, and I'm kind of keen to explore that a wee bit more as well. So that's the beauty of the group studio concept. And so there is plenty more methods and techniques to find, and I'm looking forward to those.